Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to the Game 4 review from the Charlotte Classic Tournament. In this game I had the black pieces, so let me flip the board. My opponent started with e4. So I played b6, we get d4, bishop b7. This is all stuff that you're already familiar with. My opponent told me after this game that this is actually one of his main openings for black, so he said that he kind of knew what to do, which I thought was funny because he was actually losing for a portion of this. But we get knight to f6, just putting more pressure on this pawn. He pins it, so I play h6. If he moves, he's losing this pawn. If he takes, then play on. He castles. I just took right there. He takes, so that's one set of double pawns that I gave him. I castle, and he pushes, so now he gains a second set of double pawns. So he does have the bishop as opposed to my knight, but I have no double pawns and he does. So if I could just freeze this position, which is fairly simple to freeze against doubled pawns because half the pawns can't even push, right? So that was kind of going to be my goal this game. And then here I knew that if he were to play bishop e4 that I'd just block him, but the idea was that I wanted to go knight to d7. He played h3, which I did not understand, so I played knight d7. He attacked it, and I protected. He pushed f4, and I already made a mistake here on move 15. My idea was that I would play f6, and you could see that the engine doesn't like that. But it's actually worse than what it seems. But my thought here was that if he takes this pawn, then I'm going to take with a rook, and then my rook is both capable of checking and winning this pawn. I also thought that if he takes this way, that I'm just going to take with a pawn, but then it's easy for me to freeze this kind of thing. So I was happy with either capture. However, I actually blundered a tactic. That tactic was f5. And the problem with this move is that if I take here either way, he's going to take on e6, very similar to my first game, or sorry, my second game, where I was on white and I was doing the same thing, trying to promote a pawn. If I take either way, he's going to take on e6, and when my knight moves out of the way of danger, he's going to play e7, and then he wins one of my rooks. If I just do, nothing, for example, and let's say I, move my rook over to b8, he's going to take a pawn, threatening my knight. So my knight still has to move out of the way somehow, and then when my knight moves out of the way, he still has e7. So my rook is still being threatened, and then I can't even move over to e8 because the bishop covers it. So I'm just end up dropping the exchange. So I kind of knew in this game already that I messed up big time, and I was like, ah, shit, I'm going to go down the exchange, this is going to suck. But it is what it is. So what I played was, what option did I not look at? I think it was this. Yeah, but same thing. Then the e5 pawn just goes to e6. But in the game, what I played, let me actually pull out my notes. Game 4. So after f5 on move 16, I went rook f to e8. And my thought process was just, alright, well, he's going to take, and I'm going to take back, and that's going to be it. And he did take on e6, and I did capture. However, I missed this move. So now my rook is pinned to the king. So at this point, I have to support this rook, right, or else I lose it. So I could either support with a knight, I could support with the king, I can support with the other rook. And I was so bummed out by my bad position that I just kept picking the worst moves for the next few moves. Where I probably could have made it a playable position. But what I did was rook takes e6, right, bishop c4, rook d to e8. So I thought I'd support it this way. Which is actually wrong. Because he is not looking to take this right now. He, I think, took on d6. Yep, so I captured back. And then he moved his rook from f1 to e1. And now what's happening is I'm actually going to be losing this exchange big time. So I need to protect this one more time. And again, if I just do it with the rook, then I'm not actually doing anything for myself. Or if I do it with a king, I'm not actually doing anything for myself. I'd rather do it with a knight. So that's what I did. Knight f8. And he went rook to e2. And now is when I realized that I'm still going to have to defend with the king. And when all is said and done, it's not just that I'm going to be down with the exchange. It's that I'm going to be down the exchange, and that's going to be the only difference in the game. And a knight versus a rook is suicidal when it comes to just endgames. So for example, let me just make all these moves. And again, this can't move, nothing here does anything. I'm just going to say I do a nothing move like that. If we trade everything off here, did that wrong. There's another way that he would do that. Yeah, so nothing move, and we get bishop takes, then knight takes, and then we get, that's what I was missing. We're probably going to see this move, which means I have to move this out of the way, which means the rooks come off of the board. And now this is the position where he just has a rook to my knight. And I mean, he could just creep in right here, you know, and then just get his king into the game. He could just get his king into the game because I'm cut off. He could do, you know, just play a4 so that this pawn never moves, so that now one pawn is defending 2, and his double pawns aren't as bad anymore. But yeah, you can see that it's only a 2-point difference in material, but since it's late game, it counts for 3.8. So it was just awful at that point. So I just resigned the game. That was my shortest game of the tournament by far, and my one that I was least happy about, because I felt like even though I made the same mistake I know I need to work on, which is that I don't look at my opponent's threats. It happened so early in the game, so I was just kind of bummed out, because I thought that you know, I thought that I wouldn't have to worry about things like that so early in the game. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. It was a shame. I was now 2 of 4 on the day, and I wanted to win my next game just so I was like winning for the tournament. But yeah, I was a little bummed out because I was still probably in the money for the tournament if I won this game and then won or drew the next one. But now I was more so just playing to like maintain my rating. But yeah, that was that game. Thank you for watching, and I'll hit you guys with game 5 in just a little bit.